Hello everyone, how are you doing? I hope you're having an amazing day. So in this video, I want to show you how to create this flashlight. So as you can see, we can turn on and off. We have the battery on the top right, we have the UI and it is working. As you can see, the battery is depleting and we can refill the battery as you can see. So this is basically what I want to show you today. But before, if you do like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe. So without further ado, let's start. Okay, so first let's make the flashlight blueprint. For that, I'm going to Blueprints folder, and here I will create a new folder for flashlight. Let's open this folder, and here let's create the actor. So just right click and go to Blueprint class, actor, and I will name this BP flashlight. Let's open this and let's make some changes. First, we need to add a spotlight to this blueprint. So here in components, just click on add and search for spotlight. Let's click on this. You can change the name of this to flashlight if you want. Let me change here. There you go. And here in the details, you can change some settings. You can play around with the intensity, the attenuation radius, which is basically the range of the light, as you can see. You can change the inner cone here and the outer cone. So just play around with those values to get what you want. So for me, I'll leave like this. We can come back here later to change those values. Now let's jump into event graph to make some code. First, let's add some variables that we're gonna need. So the first one will be flashlight on. Let's change the type here to Boolean. Let's add another one for flashlight battery. Let's change this to float. Another one for flashlight deplete rate. Let's leave this as float as well. Let's add another one for the flashlight max intensity. Let's leave as float as well. Let's add another one for flashlight color. This and the type of this will be linear color. So just search here for linear color, this one. Let's add another one for the full battery color. This is also a linear color. And finally, another one for the low battery color, also a linear color. Now let's set some default values. So the flashlight on variable, let's leave as false by default. The flashlight battery, let's put 1. This means full battery, right? The flashlight deplete rate, let's put 10 here. And this is in seconds, so basically 10 seconds. And actually we can change the units here. So let's just select seconds here. So let me just select here. And as you can see, this is 10 seconds. The flashlight max intensity, I will leave as 5000 by default. The flashlight color, this is the color of the light. So by default, I will put 1 here and full opacity like this. Let's hit OK. And the full battery color I will leave as green by default, so 1 here in green and full opacity. And the low battery color I will put red, so let me just put 1 here and 1 in the alpha. Okay, so basically this is the default values. Okay, so first we need to do something in the begin play. So let me delete these other events here. So because this is an actor, the inputs is disabled by default. So first we need to enable the inputs. So here in the graph, just right click and type enable input. Let's get this node here. Let's connect. And you need to pass a player controller. So just right click and type get player controller. Let's get this one here. Let's connect. Now let's set the max intensity of the flashlight. So just drag the flashlight in the graph and from this type set intensity. Let's connect here. And the new intensity is the flashlight max intensity variable. So just get this and connect here in the new intensity. And now let's set the color of the flashlight. So from the flashlight reference here, just drag and type set color. This one here, set light color. Let's connect the execution pin. And of course, the new light color is this flashlight color. So just drag and connect here in the new light color. And for now, this is all that we need to do in the begin play. Now let's create a function to deplete the flashlight battery. So here in functions, just create a new one, and let's type here deplete flashlight battery. And I will call this function in a timer. So each time that we call this function, first we need to check if the battery is greater than 0. So let's get the flashlight battery variable here, and let's check if it is greater than 0. So just type greater here and leave as 0 in the second pin. This is a boolean, of course, so let's connect in a branch. Let's do it like so. And if it is greater than 0, we need to subtract a value from this battery. So let's get the flashlight battery again, and from this let's type subtract. So we have this node here, and I will subtract 0.1 each time, right? So now we need to set this new value. So just hold Alt on keyboard and drag the flashlight battery variable in the graph to create a set node like this. So if this is true, if the battery is greater than 0, we need to set this new value here. So just connect here. And now we need to set a new intensity, because each time that we deplete the battery, I want the intensity to decrease as well. So to do this, let's drag from this flashlight battery here, this new value, right? And let's multiply with the max intensity. So the flashlight max intensity, let's drag in the graph and connect here. So remember, the flashlight battery is a value that goes from 0 to 1. So basically, when the battery is 1, this will be 1 multiplied by the max intensity, which is 5000 for now, right? So the value will be 5000. If the battery is 0.5, so basically half, right? This max intensity is 5000, so basically 0.5 times 5000 is 2500. So this will be the new intensity. So now we just need to set this as the new intensity. To do this, just drag the flashlight in the graph, and from this type set intensity again. Let's connect here, and let's connect the new intensity like so. And later we will come back here to update the UI as well when we have the HUD, right? Now that we have this deplete flashlight battery function, we can create the turn flashlight on function. So here in functions, let's create a new one. I will name this turn flashlight on. And now we need to enable everything that we need to make the flashlight work, right? First, let's set the flashlight on variable to true. So just hold Alt on keyboard and drag the variable to create a set node and just turn this on, set to true, right? Now let's set the visibility of the flashlight to true as well. So just drag the flashlight in the graph, and from this type set visibility. Let's connect here the execution pin, and the new visibility will be true as well. Now we need to set the intensity. So because this will be dynamic, we need to set the intensity here as well, because imagine that you turn off the flashlight with half battery, so you need to turn on with half battery as well. So we need to set the intensity here. So from the flashlight, just drag and type set intensity again. Let's connect the execution pin here, and the new intensity is the battery times the max intensity. So let's drag the flashlight battery in the graph, and let's multiply this with the flashlight max intensity. Let's connect here, and this is the new intensity. So let's just connect here, and now we need to start the timer to deplete the battery, right? To do this, just right click and type set timer by function name. Let's use this one here, set timer by function name. Let's connect the execution pin. So first we need to set the function name. So you need to type exactly the same name as the function here. So let's type deplete flashlight battery. This needs to be the same name, otherwise it won't work, right? So just type the same name here. And for the time, we need to use the flashlight deplete rate. So let's drag this in the graph. And to make this work in seconds, we need to divide this by 10. So just drag and divide by 10. So put 10 here in the second pin, and just connect this in the time here. And let's make this loop. So just enable the looping here. And now we need to save this as a variable. So just drag the return value here and promote to a variable. And let's name this deplete battery timer, something like this. And there you go. Now we can manipulate this timer in other places, right? And this is basically it. Again, later we will come back to this function when we have the HUD for the battery, right? But for now, this is basically it. Now we need to create the turn off function. So here in functions, let's add a new one. I will name this turn flashlight off. And now let's do some code. First, let's set the flashlight on variable back to false. So just create a set node and set to false this. Let's set the visibility of the flashlight to false as well. So just drag in the graph and from this type set visibility, let's connect here and let's leave the new visibility as false here, right? And we need to clear the timer that we created in the on function here. This one in the turn on function, we created this timer here. So now that we are turning off, we need to clear this. Otherwise, this timer will run in the background and we don't want that. So to clear this, you just need to get a reference for the timer. So we have here in the variable, deplete battery timer, right? So just drag this in the graph and from this type, clear and invalidate timer by handle. Just call this and you will clear the timer. And that's basically it for now. Later when we have the HUD, we will come back to this function as well. Okay, so now we need an input to call this turn on and turn off. To do this, let's first create the input. So let's go back here to the folders and let's open input. Actions, let's create a new action. So right click and go to input action. I will name this IA for input action and flashlight. Now let's go back to the input folder and let's open the input mapping context default, this one here. Let's expand the mappings and let's add another one. Here let's select the action, so IA flashlight. And for the key, in my case here, I will put F. So just click on the keyboard here and press the key you want, right? So now just save and close. Now we have this input to use. Okay, so here in the BP flashlight, let's go back to the event graph and let's implement the input. So here just right click and type IA flashlight to get the event, this one here. Let's expand this. And first we need to check the current state of the flashlight, if it is on or off. To do this, let's drag the flash on variable in the graph like so, and let's connect in a branch. And let's connect the completed pin in the branch like this. So basically, if this is true, that means that the flashlight is on, so we need to turn off. So let's drag the turn flashlight off function in the graph and let's connect in the true here. And if this is false, that means that the flashlight is off, so we need to turn on. So let's drag the turn on the flashlight here, turn flashlight on. Let's connect here. And this is basically it. Let's compile and save. And now we can test this. But before testing, we need to add this flashlight in the character. So here I have the BP first person character. So let's open this and I want to add this flashlight in the camera. So just select the camera here and in components, let's add one. We need to add a child actor. So let's add this inside the first person camera. As you can see, let's rename this child actor to flashlight. Like so, and here in child actor class we need to select the BP flashlight. So just type here BP flashlight, and now we have the flashlight inside the character, so we can compile and save, and now we can test to see if this is working. And by default we need to set the visibility of the flashlight to false. So here in the BP flashlight, let's select the spotlight here, the flashlight, right? And here in the visible, let's uncheck this flag. So now it is false. Let's compile and save, and now let's test this. So now let's hit play and see if this is working. So if I press F, as you can see, we have the flashlight. We can turn off and on. And as you can see, the intensity is going down. This is happening because we are depleting the battery. And this is happening in 10 seconds because we set 10 seconds in the variables. And of course, we can change this to whatever we want. So basically everything is working. Now let's add a refill option. Okay, so back to the BP flashlight blueprint, let's create the refill function. So here in functions, add one. I will name this refill. And first, I want to refill only if the flashlight is on. You don't need to do that, but I will do here. So just drag the flashlight on in the graph and connect in a branch, like so. Let me just connect here. So now if this is true, we want to refill the flashlight. So I want to do this by an amount that I want to receive as an input here in the refill. So just click on the function here and add an input. I will name this refill amount, like so. This is in a float, right? And as you may remember, the flashlight battery goes from 0 to 1. So we need to make sure the refill amount goes from 0 to 1 as well. So just to make sure, let's clamp this value. So just drag from the refill amount and type clamp. Let's select this one here, clamp float. So let's leave the min as 0 and the max as 1. And now we just need to set this as the battery of the flashlight. So just drag the flashlight battery variable in the graph, holding Alt to create a set node. Connect from the true here and just connect the return value as the new flashlight battery. And now just to reuse code to set the intensity and things like that, let's just call the turn flashlight on variable function actually again. So just connect here. And there you go, now we have a refill function. Let's compile and save, and now we just need to create an input for that, or in your game, if you have an item in an inventory system or things like that, you can call this function from this item to refill the flashlight, right? So here I will call as an input just to test if this is working. So let's create the input now. So let's go back to the folders and let's open input actions. Let's create a new one. So right click and go to input action. I will name this IA flashlight refill, like this. Let's open the input mapping context so we can add this. So here in mappings, add one. Let's select here the flashlight refill. And for this, I will use the R key like this. So let's save. Let's close and let's go back to the BP flashlight. Let's go back to the event graph, and here we just need to call the function when we press the key. So just right click and type IA flashlight refill to get the event here. Let's expand and let's drag the refill function to the graph and let's connect on the completed. So basically when we press the refill key, we will call the refill function, passing 1 as the amount. So basically we will set the battery to full battery basically, right? So now let's compile and save and let's test to see if it is working. Let's test. So let me hit play here. Now let's turn on the flashlight and let's wait for this to run out. So let's wait 10 seconds. As you can see, the intensity is going down. There you go, so we don't have the flashlight anymore. So if I press R now, as you can see, the battery goes back again and depletes again. So basically this is working. Of course, we can press R anytime we want, but you can connect this to an inventory item or things like that to basically refill the flashlight, but the system is working. Now let's add some sounds to the flashlight. So I got some sounds from Deplet. So I have here in sounds, I have this one here when we turn on and off the flashlight. And I have this one for when we refill. So you can get these effects here from Deplet website. You just need to search for flashlight sounds, right? So now let's use this in the code. So let's go back to the BP flashlight, and basically when we turn on and off, I want to play that sound. So here just right click and type play sound. In this example, I will use the play sound 2D. So let's select this one, and here we just need to select the sound. So I want to play this one here. So let's just select this and let's connect from both sides here, so from true and false. And now let's compile and save. So now if we hit play, and when we turn on and off, we should have the sound, as you can see. So now let's add the refill sound. For the refill sound, it's basically the same. So let's go back to the BP flashlight and let's open the refill function. So here we basically need to play the sound. So just right click and type play sound 2D. Let's select this one here. Let's connect the execution pin. And now we just need to select the correct sound. So for me is this one here. Right? So let me just select this, compile and save. And now if we hit play, we should have the sound when we refill. So let me just wait a little bit here and let's refill. As you can see, we have the correct sound. So basically this system is done. So now let's just create an UI so the player can see the battery, right? So let's do that. For the battery UI, I have these two icons that I created. This battery fill icon is just a rectangle, as you can see, and this battery icon. So pretty simple, right? So now let's just use these icons to create a widget to display the battery. So let's go back to the folders, widget. Here I will create a new folder for flashlight. Let's open this and here let's create the widget. So just right click and go to user interface, widget blueprint. Here select user widget and let's name this WB for widget blueprint flashlight, something like this. Let's open this and let's start making the widget. First, let's add a canvas panel. So here in the palette, just search for canvas. Let's add this. And now let's add a progress bar. So here in the palette, search for progress bar and let's add this in the canvas like so. And I will name this battery progress bar like this. Let's compile and save. And now let's set this in the position we want in the canvas. So for me, let's just select this. For me, I will put this in the top right, as you can see here. So I will hold Ctrl and Shift and click on the top right, like so. So the progress bar is right here. And let's just add some offset here. So let's add maybe -82 on the X and 6 on the Y, as you can see. So basically this is where the battery will appear in the screen, right? So now let's just use the icons that I showed you before. To do this, just select the battery progress bar and here in style expand this, and now we can change the background image and fill image. So let's start with the background image, expand this. You can select the image here. So I will select the battery icon, as you can see, and let's change this draw as to image like so. So we have this. Let's do the same for the fill image. So let me just select here the battery fill icon and let's change the draw as to image like so. And now we just need to change the size of this. So let me just make the Y like so. Let's increase the X a little bit so we have the correct aspect ratio here. So maybe something like this. And here in the percent, if we put here 0.5, as you can see, we have the fill image as well. So this is basically how you can change the icon of a progress bar. And you can take your time to make this pretty, but I will leave like this. Let me just decrease a little bit the size here. And let's put maybe here. So you can take your time to make this pretty, but I will leave as it is. Now just make sure that the progress bar is a variable. So just select the battery progress bar and make sure that each variable is checked, right? Let's go to the graph so we can do some code. Let me just delete these events here. And let's create a custom event. So just right click and type custom event. Let's make this one. And I will name this set battery percent like this. And this function will need one input, the percent, right? So just select the event and here in inputs add one. I will name this percent like this. Let's change this to float And now we just need to set the values based on this percent. So first let's set the percent of the battery progress bar. So just drag the battery progress bar in the graph, and from this type set percent. Let's use this function here, set percent. Let's connect the execution pin and connect the percent in the in percent here. And now I want to change the color of this fill image here depending on this percent. So to do this, let's first create two variables. So here in variables, let's create one. This first one will be low battery color. Let's change the type here to linear color. So just search here for linear color, and let's create another one for full battery color. Now let's just select one here and let's make this instance editable. So just check this and check expose on spawn, and do the same for the other one. So instance editable and expose on spawn. Let's compile and save, and now let's just use this. So to use this, let's use a lerp, right? So just right click and type lerp, and let's use this lerp here, lerp linear color, right? Select this one here, and let's connect the low battery color in the A and connect the full battery color in the B. And for the alpha, we can use this percent. Remember that this percent goes from 0 to 1, right? So let's just drag the percent here and connect in the alpha. Let me just add a reroute, like so. And now we just need to set the fill color. To do this, just drag the progress bar in the graph, and from this, let's type set fill color and opacity, this one here. Let's select this, let's connect the execution pin, and this new color is this return value here of the lerp. So just connect here, and there you go. This is basically all we need to do in the widget. Let's compile and save, and now we just need to use this widget. To use this widget, let's go back to the flashlight here in the event graph in the begin play. First, we need to create the widget. So here, just right click and type create widget. Let's connect here the execution pin. And in the class, let's select the widget. So just search for WB flashlight. And as you can see, because we set the low battery color and full battery color to expose on spawn, we can set this here. So let's just drag the full battery color and connect in the correct place, and the low battery color and connect here. And there you go. So this is the class. Let's connect the owning player as well. So just right click and type get player controller. Let's get this one here, and let's connect here in the owning player. And now let's just save this widget as a reference in a variable. So from the return value here, just drag and type and click on promote to variable, and I will name this flashlight HUD, something like this. Let's compile and save, and now we can call this reference here from anywhere. So let's do this. In my case, I want to show the HUD only if the flashlight is on. So to do this, let's open the turn flashlight on function. So here we need to add the HUD in the screen. To do this, let's drag the flashlight HUD reference in the graph, and just to make sure, let's convert this to a validated get. So just right click and click on convert to validated get. Let's connect here. And if this is valid, we need to add to the viewport, right? So just drag and type add to viewport to add this HUD in the screen. But actually before that, let's set the percent, right? So from the flashlight HUD, let's drag and type set battery percent, this one here, the custom event that we created, right? So just click on this. Let's connect here from the is valid, and then connect in the add to viewport. And the percent is this flashlight battery. So just drag and connect here, and there you go. So now when we turn on the flashlight, we will add the HUD in the screen as well. So let's compile and save. And if we turn off the flashlight, we need to remove this HUD from the screen. To do this, let's open the turn flashlight off. And after this, let's remove this flashlight HUD. So let's just drag in the graph. Let's convert to a validated get as well. And if this is valid, let's remove from the parent. To do this, just drag from the reference here and type remove from parent. And there we go. So basically now we will only have the HUD if the flashlight is on. And of course, every time that we deplete the battery, we need to set the new percent in the HUD as well. So let's open the deplete flashlight battery function. And after this, let's again get the flashlight HUD and convert to a validated get. Let's connect here. So after this, we need to set the percent. So let's drag from the flashlight HUD and let's type set battery percent, again the custom event that we created, right? And let's set the flashlight battery as the new percent. As you can see, let's compile and save, and now we can test to see if this is working. So let's hit play to see if we have the HUD. So if we turn on the flashlight, as you can see in the top right, we have the battery and is running out, as you can see. So everything is working. Let's just wait a little bit. And if we refill, as you can see, we have the correct value in the UI as well. So everything is working. So back in the BP flashlight, let's organize a little bit the variables here so we can change these values easily from the instance, right? So first, this flashlight on, we don't need to change this. So let's set this to private, right? This flashlight battery, let's make this a slider from 0 to 1. So here in slider range, just set 0 and 1, right? And let's make this instance editable, like so. This flashlight deplete rate, let's make this instance editable as well. Let's do the same for the flashlight max instance. This flashlight color, this full battery color, and low battery color as well. And this deplete battery timer, let's make this private, and this flashlight HUD, let's make this private as well. Let's compile and save. And now if we go back to the first person character, if you select here the flashlight component, which is a child actor component, right? So if you select this, here in the child actor template, if you expand this and default, as you can see, you have the values to change. So you can set this the start of the battery. So if you want the battery to start at half, you can put here 0.5, as you can see, or 1 if you want to start full, right? You can change the deplete rate. So basically now the flashlight will run out in 10 seconds, but of course you can put this 2 minutes, for example, so 120 seconds here. You can change the intensity, the color of the flashlight, and the colors for the full battery color and low battery color. So just to show you, if I put the flashlight color here to maybe a purple, something like this, and if I change the full battery color to maybe blue and the low battery color to yellow, let's just put here, let me compile and save. And if we go back here and test, as you can see, the light now is purple and the full battery there is blue. But if we change, let me just change back this to 10 seconds. So the deplete rate, let's put 10 seconds here. When we have a low barrel, it will be yellow. So let me just show you this. As you can see, so you can change all the values from the instance. And this is basically it for this video. I hope you enjoyed and learned something new. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe so you don't lose any new content. And as always, thank you for watching. Keep learning. I'll see you in the next video.